Alright, so this will be a little bit of a different video. I wanted to talk about something that has been going on with this game. And it's not really so much the game, it's with the community, and it's with how certain staff members interact with players, and how certain players who like to ride the coattails of staff kind of kiss their ass. They may not realize they're doing it. They may realize they're doing it. I don't know. It really doesn't matter. But it's contributing to the devolvement of community interaction on the forums. All right, so I wanted to talk about, let's see here. So we have the official thread here. So we have the Checkmate Chessmaster Saga here, and then we come along, and the items finally get released and stuff. Then there's a little bit of a debate. Korriban says he thinks that the spell is a bad item. He has the absolute right to have that opinion. If say like another player says, no wait, I think it's a fantastic item, fantastic spell, they have the right to have that opinion. Okay, now they get into a little bit of a debate, and I wanted to first point out, okay, so the debate is not between two players. The debate begins with Lorekeeper, in other words, Cray, who has had run-ins with other players in different areas, including myself. Okay? So I want to first point something out. And I need to find it, but I'm pretty sure that Lorekeeper, aka I'll just refer him to Cray, said that there would be a surprise item once they were finished. So the surprise item, I don't know how much input Cray has with item design. Probably not a lot, but I bet you there is some. So I wanted to point out something, okay? So Cray puts chromatic channeling is now live in the Gauntlet shop. Okay. He didn't say the spell is now live. Put the name. Nobody knew what the hell the name of the spell was. Okay. So then we got one of the usual suspects here that I guess went and got it. It says nice spell. Then Cray says thanks, it has pockets. So what that tells me is Cray probably either created the item or helped create the functionality, the idea. Maybe the balancing factor was worked out through Cam or IMR or somebody, but when you say thank you directly, so you've got these two people who are known as being quote-unquote friends. Okay, nice spell, thanks, I made it. That's how it comes off. Okay, so if Cray had input, as it seems, then as soon as someone comes in here and says the spell is just bad, okay, Cray must be proud of it because he says thank you. Then you got another person here who is part of the quote-unquote squad. You've got the math nerds that are quick to jump in and say, no, but what about this? No, but balance. No, but this. which to me this is fine. Chaotic is trying to make the argument that that's pretty good, and I'm cool with that. But what I have an issue with is when staff, who probably took offense to the fact that someone called it bad, maybe because they helped create the item themselves, they go on with all of this stuff here as the logic behind, I don't know what they're trying to say here, to be honest with you. So then Korriban comes back and pleads his case, and then Chaotic comes back and pleads his case. I actually believe, to a degree, I think those defending the spell, I think there are usage cases that can really drive up the heal. I think, as Chaotic mentioned, they've actually been able to heal for thousands. I haven't really tried to do that, but you can do it using the Werpar Batswarm Elevon bug with Zfinity Gauntlet. You could probably do it with some of the freeze-like effects if the heal happens to be, like if it happens to land on that element. Okay. And then I guess if you wanted to use this armor here, Fiend of Virgil, to increase the poison, then I suppose, that's you can do that. So I can see where the heal will come in nicely. I personally don't like playing as a warrior. I never have. And the fact that it locks it to melee is a warrior-specific heal. For me, in my opinion, and that's the key here, guys, it's probably not... I'm not going to use it. I own it. I'm not going to use it. I do change my build and equipment a couple times a week because I just get bored with the same shit. But so I just hoard stuff and then I'm able to change. And while Chaotic is accurate here, and that the turn cost and the hefty SP cost and MP cost is increasing the power, and I'm not necessarily against those ideas. I've long since said I would rather do things like increase your cost to increase power of stuff. To me, that's a good thing. It provides for more variety. So I'm all for that. However, I don't disagree with the points that Korriban's making. And I'll explain why here in a second. But the biggest issue here is you have a person who looks to have been highly involved with creating the item, and then gets defensive when someone expresses an opinion, and now you have this back and forth that begins. And in my opinion, I know that there needs to be some staff interaction, and Cray tends to be that person that does the most staff interaction with the players. But this coming to the defensive stuff needs to stop, because then you end up escalating emotions. And I firmly believe that staff, being the paid quote-unquote professionals, have got to take more onus and responsibility in their role in this. I guarantee you, if this back and forth were to continue and get heated, all that would happen is the banhammer would come out, or the warnings would come out, simply because Korriban is expressing an opinion. I have been the victim of this. And when you have people who have their opinion, he's being ganged up on. You got one here, and then you got Chaotic coming on here, and then it's basically echoing what this person says. And there's been evidence that this person and this person will always see eye to eye, and as well as this person and this person will always see eye to eye. And it's very obvious, and many players know. Okay? So, I don't know if this person or LV1000 or even the staff member here will ever see this, but you guys don't understand that you're contributing to the devolvement of the interaction on the forums. They're anemic, and it's you guys that are lessening the interaction and the community involvement because of how you guys jump in and basically try to shut down people's opinions, and it's not okay. Now, I'm going to come over here to the game now, and I want to talk about something. Alright, so there is almost no monster in the game that's not a boss that should be giving anyone any trouble, to be honest with you. Especially if you've bought items and done some of the pay-to-play stuff. There shouldn't be any issues to the point where you would need an ultra-powerful, multi-element, damage-based, therefore increased power on your heal. You don't need it. You might need a good heal versus a boss. But here's the problem. So I'm going to run through and show something really quick. Let's get through here. I don't even remember the elements on the main boss here. Okay? But this is, other than specific mechanics, there is something I wanted to point out. And it's the reason why boss mechanics are more and more dictating the point of view of items. And I'm not saying change boss mechanics. It's probably a necessary evil, but I don't think anyone should be offended if someone calls an item bad. Okay? So I'm going to go here. This is the main boss. Okay, when I come over here, so you got all 80s. Okay? In this case, this would be fine. But there are the other bosses in the gauntlet. I think almost every other one has zeros or negatives. So I want to also point out we have a damage cap of 180 with a clawback of 0.5. Okay? So let's go to the gauntlet here. I'm kind of lucky. I thought I was going to have to go through the cutscenes and shit. Okay, so here. We've got a negative 50 on ice, a 50 to water, a 50 to wind. This is probably more closer to what you might see on some quote-unquote boss monsters. I could go through to the next boss, and it would probably be somewhat similar. Okay? Now, this also has a damage cap. So keep this in mind. So you're telling me that I needed to spend... So if I need to heal versus anyone, it's going to be versus a boss monster. Okay? It's not going to be versus your random battle or some monster in questing. Probably not. You might use the heal versus a boss. Okay? Because they're harder. They're going to hit harder. Okay? Alright? So let's say I needed to heal. And I decided to have that specific spell in this scenario. So keep in mind. So now I cast a spell and I lose a turn. Also, the cost is one of the highest costs in the game. As far as an MP or even the SP. Okay? And a turn. So that's the cost. The MP or the SP cost, depending on the variant, and your turn. Okay, so now you have this imbue that will be listed here. The power of the poison and thus the heal, okay, will be based on the damage done. Well, I can't do too much damage because I got a damage cap of 222. So boss mechanics are already going to limit the amount of damage that I can do. On a mechanic, aka healing, that I'm most likely going to need versus the same monster that I'm trying to get it on. Okay? So now the monster attacks me. Okay, so it attacked me. So that probably negated some of the heal, unless I had set up to dodge. Okay? So not only do I have a turn cost, an MP or an SP cost, but I also have a hit point cost. Probably. You could even, if you were going to use standard assumptions, probably 100% melee as far as monster goes, because they're going to attack me. Okay? So you have a turn loss, which is your hit point cost. So a turn loss plus a hit point cost, most likely, if you assume 85% hit rates, and the huge MP and SP. Then so now I attack, and I have this puny damage, therefore I have a puny poison that is random elements, and it could hit versus water, it might get hit versus wind, it might get hit versus ice and actually heal the fucking thing. Yeah, if I hit fire, I might get lucky, a 1 in 8 chance on the random number generator. Earth and energy wouldn't be too bad. And of course you're going to take light or darkness over water, wind, or ice. So when I'm making decisions on what to carry, I'm probably not going to choose that item because of the unreliability and because of the damage cap and because I might actually heal a monster. So Korriban is actually correct in that the item is not worth carrying around in your active inventory, especially when it becomes to bosses. Number one, you're probably not going to need a heal versus regular monsters. I never heal versus regular monsters. And versus a boss where you might need to heal, this is a pretty normal set of resistances. It's not even worth attempting. It would just, you're wasting. It's like, hey, let me buy a lottery ticket in a sense. So not only is he being singled out because of the defensive nature of a staff member who probably had input on creating the item, and it's obvious, and they need to stop that nonsense, but I actually side with Korriban on the issue of the item. Yeah, if you use the Warpire Bat Swarm Elevon bug, and you're fighting a regular monster that's got a bunch of 100s and 110s and 130s, and the monster has 30,000 hit points, that's the other thing. The more damage you do, the better the heal becomes. Well, if you're doing 20,000 damage to get a 8,000 heal, you probably just killed the monster, so why would you even need to heal? You know, it's a nice idea, and the functionality of it is cool, but the real life case usage of it and the desirability to have it in your active inventory all the time, I promise you the practicality of it is super, super low. So, like I said, I just have to kind of bring that up because I'm kind of sick and tired of the bandwagon kiss ass people that just want to defend everything, and then the inherent thing that does, they may not be aware of, is it devolves the forums. You can't, you just get out there and say, well, in my opinion, it's good because of this. Well, in my opinion, it's bad because of that. And then move on. Instead, you just got these pseudo staff riding on the pigtails of staff, and all of them are coming to the defense of an item when it's just his fucking opinion. Let him have his opinion. And stop silencing people. I'm tired of it. You people are clueless when it comes to this. In the end, Korriban is probably the one that is the most correct when it comes to how good the item is. Anyway, I'm done with it. I'm tired of you people.